Hello, friends, and welcome to another edition of the Boot Room. Mark, Heath, Andy Warren to break down Town's game at home against Wigan Athletic tomorrow night. There's only 3 games left in this Ipswich Town season, and tomorrow they welcome champions-elect Wigan to Portman Road. The last chance, really, of these last 3 games to really lay down a marker and beat a top team, building momentum ahead of next season. As I say, Mark and Andy here with you. And Andy, that really is the talking point going into this one, isn't it? Another chance for Town to test themselves against the top side and get a big scalp before the season ends.
Yeah, I think what you're saying there is right. For me, this feels like the final real competitive game of Ipswich's season. Crewe and Charlton are the deadest of dead rubbers, but this one is very much alive, especially for Wigan, who, depending on how things go elsewhere and at Portman Road, could win promotion in the coming hours, days. And that's obviously what they'll be coming to do. Ipswich's job is to stop them, and not just do that, but also just show and really show us why we feel like there's so much kind of falling into place for Ipswich to potentially be something close to what Wigan are this time next year. It's a big stage for Ipswich to have an impact on things, but the biggest thing they need to impact is kind of how their supporters feel about the team and how they feel about themselves. So looking forward to this one and seeing what they can all do.
I guess in terms of the other talking point going into this one, and is really when it comes to team selection, is really what you do with Elkan Baggott after what was a very, very impressive, assured debut at Rotherham at the weekend. Looked very, very good coming in on the left side of that back three for Cameron Burgess. Burgess now is available again following that 1-game suspension. So what would you do with Elkan, and what do you think Kieran would do? The debate really is obviously whether you bring Burgess back. As you say, he's been suspended following a decent run in the side, or do you bring Elkan and stick him in the team and keep him going after a good debut?
Elkan Baggott is an interesting one. What do Ipswich do? It's a tough one for McKenna in man management terms, because Burgess is a player that he's praised heavily for how he's handled being out of the team for such a long time when George Edmondson took his place. So I think he'd be minded to kind of not further punish Burgess for his mistake at Shrewsbury by dropping him out of this one. But Baggott didn't do anything to lose his place, did he? So it'd be an interesting one. My gut feeling is that you want to reward the players that were in the team, and that was obviously Baggott, who had a good game. So for me, I'd go again with him.
Now, normally at this point, I'd flash up the Andy's projected starting 11, but it seemed a bit frivolous this week because we kind of know what most of the team is going to be. The big question there is obviously Baggott or Burgess. And I guess the other usual question, Andy, which forgive me for asking you yet again, is up top. Because that's always the question, isn't it? Norwood started the last 4, is it now? Obviously scored and then had that big miss on Saturday, which ended up costing Town at Rotherham. And then the usual question is who plays behind him. You said before that you'd be starting Macaulay Bonne. Is that something you'd still be doing going into this one?
Yeah, I wonder if we're maybe too far down the track for now. I think that's something I've been talking about for weeks and weeks. He would have been one that I would have been playing a bit more regularly than he has. It's reached this point without that happening. So it's not a drum. It's not a drum I'm going to be beating furiously at this point. So I don't know who he'll play, but whoever does play, both in that position and then also in the 2 number 10 positions, where it never really kind of settled on a 2 behind the 1 that hasn't been settled on either. Whichever 3 players get the nod there, I just want this team to go out and go toe to toe for a team that's likely going to be champions of the league, and just deliver a performance. Doesn't have to be the result, but just deliver a performance that just shows why there's so many reasons to feel like they're going in the right direction at this point. That's what I want to be seeing.
Team definitely going in the right direction. Obviously, our Wigan, who are the visitors tomorrow. What are you expecting from Wigan in this game, Andy? They've had a little bit of a stumble the last couple of games. They've not won for a couple of games. They lost at home to Cambridge United at the weekend, and of course they have a familiar face up front who certainly is having more success at Wigan than he did at Portman Road in Will Keane. 21 goals and 7 assists this season, all while sporting a rather impressive top knot. Looking forward to seeing him back, and what you're expecting from Wigan.
Yeah, I think he's an example of what players can do if they're kind of playing in the right position. I don't think he was ever used properly at Ipswich. He's kind of playing now as a bit of a withdrawn second striker, sometimes as a sort of a bona fide attacking midfielder, number 10, where he's able to kind of get on the ball, use it, but also bring the attributes he's got inside the box in terms of finishing as well. Here, it didn't feel like the team was set up for him to kind of flourish and do that. I think he'd be a really good fit for what Kieran McKenna's got going now. So I'm interested to see him in action. He's a player I always liked, but felt like he just wasn't suited to what was going on. There's Gwion Edwards as well, who's been right on the fringes of everything. I think it's only 9 league starts for Gwion at Wigan. He's been on the fringes of things, but is probably quite happy that he turned down a new contract at Ipswich and went to Wigan, where he will more than likely be a championship player next season. Much like Rotherham at the weekend, just looking forward to seeing a team that appears to have cracked the League One formula and seeing what Town can take from them, because they're in the position where Ipswich want to be in 12 months' time.
Okay, so for one of the final times of this season, I'm going to ask you for a prediction. Andy, we've said it's really Town's final chance to get a statement win and really show what they may be capable of next season against a side that looks like they're going to go up. What are you going to predict for this one?
I'm not sure Ipswich are going to have enough to win this game. Sadly, I think there might be another defeat on the cards. I think I'll go for the same score as the weekend, and a 1-0 win for the promotion chaser.
Yeah, I agree. These are the games that Town do unfortunately have a habit of losing, and I think they're going to lose 2-0 at Portman Road. Hopefully we're both wrong. Enjoy the game if you're going. If not, tune back in for the next Boot Room coming at you later this week.